Welcome to another deep dive, everybody. This time we're going deep into AI, and, well, it's been a crazy couple of weeks, hasn't it? New models are dropping constantly, benchmarks are getting tougher, and, well, we're all just trying to keep up. Today we're going to cut through all that noise and focus on the stuff you need to know, the really exciting developments that matter.
Yeah, it really does feel like we're at a turning point. There's just so much happening at the same time. I think it's going to be really interesting to see how this all plays out, not just for, the tech world, but for everybody, for society as a whole.
Totally. So let's dive right in, huh? This whole new model frenzy is kind of mind-blowing. We've got stuff like Step Video T2V generating like 204 frame videos right out of the box. And then there's Snap Audio Chat, which it can basically have a conversation with you using voice input and output.
Yeah, and those are just a couple of examples. What's really remarkable is how fast these models are being developed and refined. It feels like every week there's a new breakthrough.
Exactly. But the one that really caught my attention is Ella. It's this 8 billion parameter model, and it's kind of shaking things up with its diffusion approach.
Yeah.
And, that sounds technical, but think of it this way. Instead of reading text like we do, left to right, Ella is more like a detective predicting missing pieces of information.
It's a really cool approach, and it seems to be working super well. LED is getting performance that's comparable to much larger models, but it's using way less training data, like a fraction. So this could mean that we're on the edge of developing AI systems that are not only powerful, but incredibly efficient too.
And get this, it's really good at dialogue and like following instructions.
Yeah.
So think of AI assistants that can actually hold a conversation and understand what you need.
Yeah, it's a big step toward AI that's more interactive and user-friendly. It opens up all kinds of possibilities for how we interact with these systems in our everyday lives.
Now, we can't talk about new models without mentioning Grok 3, Elon Musk's new project, right? He's calling it the smartest AI on Earth, which, of course, has everyone buzzing.
It's definitely gotten a lot of attention. What will be really interesting is to see how it actually performs in the real world. Does it live up to the hype? The AI community is definitely waiting to see more details and did some independent assessments.
Right, performance is what matters in the end, not just claims. And that's where benchmarks come in. They're like the AI Olympics, where these models compete to prove what they can do.
Yeah, benchmarks are really important for pushing AI development forward. They help us see where we need to improve. They give us a standardized way to measure progress, make sure we're going in the right direction.
Exactly. And some of these benchmarks are getting seriously tough. There's Scale AI's Enigma Evil and Cambridge's Zero Bench. They're like super complicated puzzles that even the most advanced models are having trouble with.
Yeah, these challenges are testing how well AI can reason, solve problems, and understand complex information in a multimodal way. And the fact that even the top models are scoring low on some of these tests, well, it shows that we still have a ways to go in certain areas.
It's a bit of a reality check, but it's also pretty exciting, right? It means there's still so much room to grow and innovate. And it's not all about super complicated challenges either. There's also ZSEVOL, which focuses on more practical skills like knowledge, reasoning, and planning.
Yeah, ZSEL is cool because it has this self-improvement via optimization thing, meaning the AI systems can learn and actually improve their performance over time. That's a key step towards more adaptable and autonomous AI systems.
And hey, speaking of impressive performance, Eladia, that model we talked about earlier, is actually doing really well on these benchmarks. It's even beating some larger models, which is pretty amazing. Shows that bigger isn't always better, right?
Mhm.
Sometimes it's about finding small and efficient solutions.
Yeah, LD's success is really a testament to the researchers who developed it. It's a good reminder that there are a lot of different ways to approach AI development, and sometimes the most unexpected solutions can be the best.
So before we get too lost in the models and benchmarks, let's take a step back and talk about the tools and infrastructure that are making all of this progress possible. Because honestly, most of us aren't running huge AI models on supercomputers, are we?
Right, and that's where things get really exciting for the average person. We're seeing a lot of new tools and platforms that make AI easier to use, more accessible, no matter how much technical expertise or resources you have.
Right, like there's Microsoft's Omni Parser, which helps computers understand what they're seeing on a screen, and it just got way faster, so it's even more powerful for things that need visual information.
And if you're interested in running AI models locally, there's Llama, which makes it easier to set up and run models on your own computer. That's a game changer for developers, researchers, hobbyists, anyone who wants to play around with AI without relying on the cloud.
And then there's OpenArc, which uses Intel hardware to make local deployment even faster. What stands out to you about all of this? Are you running AI locally? What tools are you most excited about? It feels like we're moving towards a future where AI is something we can all use and benefit from, not just a select few.
Totally. It's becoming a democratizing force. And that's what's so exciting about all this AI innovation.
Hmm.
We're seeing it shift from being mostly in the hands of big companies and research institutions to a more decentralized and accessible landscape. This could unleash so much creativity and innovation as more people get involved in developing and using AI.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about China, particularly DeepSeek. They're making some serious waves with their DeepSeek R1 model, and their founder, Liang Wenfeng, is being called a visionary.
DeepSeek's rise really shows how AI development is happening all over the world. It's not just Silicon Valley anymore. We're seeing big advancements everywhere.
Absolutely. Wenfeng was recently at a big symposium in Beijing with companies like Tencent and Huawei, which shows just how influential DeepSeek's becoming.
Yeah, that symposium was interesting because it brought together some of the biggest names in Chinese tech. It shows how important AI development is to the country.
They were showing off all sorts of cool AI and robotics stuff. Makes you wonder what the future holds, huh?
It's clear that AI is becoming a key driver of innovation and economic growth globally. And as these technologies keep developing, I think we can expect to see even more groundbreaking applications across all sorts of industries.
All right, let's bring it back home for a sec. Have you heard about Perplexity's new feature? It's this awesome tool that can do deep research for you, answer specific questions, and even generate reports.
Yeah, it's a great example of how AI can boost productivity and give people access to information. It's like having an AI assistant that can go through tons of data and give you exactly the insights you need, tailored to your needs.
Yeah, it's like having your own personal research team. People are already using it for things like legal advice, product planning, even just getting a better grasp of complex topics. It's really something.
The possibilities with this kind of tool are huge. And as the technology improves, we're going to see even more innovative and powerful applications.
Now, I know you're thinking, is it perfect? Well, no technology is right. There have been some reports of inaccuracies, particularly with outdated data.
Right. It's important to remember that AI systems are still being developed and are always learning. They can be really powerful tools, but we need to be critical and understand their limitations.
Exactly. The good news is that Perplexity is working on improvements. Better sources, more detailed reports, more academic references. It's great to see these tools evolving and getting more sophisticated over time.
That kind of iterative development is key to making sure AI systems are reliable, accurate, and meet users' needs. As AI keeps evolving, I think we'll see even more impressive improvements in what these tools can do.
So we've talked about new models, benchmarks, tools, and even what's going on in China. But the conversation around AI isn't just about the technology itself, right? It's about its impact on society, on all of us.
Right? That's where things get really interesting and where we need to think critically about the role AI plays in our lives. Technology is advancing so fast, it's crucial that we have thoughtful discussions about the ethical and societal implications.
And those discussions are happening already. Some experts are predicting that 2025 will be a huge year for AI-powered humanoids and robots. Imagine robots being part of our everyday lives, helping us with tasks, being companions, even changing things in fields like healthcare and transportation.
It's a future with a ton of possibilities, but also raises important questions about the nature of work, the role of humans in an AI-driven world, and the ethical side of developing and using such advanced technology.
It sounds like science fiction, but it's getting more real all the time. We've got companies like Meta saying they can read user intentions from brain data with, 80% accuracy. It's amazing technology, but it makes you think about privacy and the potential for misuse, too.
Yeah, those are complex issues that need careful thought and open discussion. As AI gets more sophisticated and becomes a bigger part of our lives, we need to make sure it's being developed and used in a way that benefits humanity and respects our values.
It's all about balancing innovation and responsibility, right? Speaking of innovation, there are startups like Harvey using AI to completely change entire industries.
Harvey's a cool example of how AI can streamline legal services and make them more efficient and accessible. It makes you think about the future of jobs in fields like law, where AI can now automate tasks that used to be done only by humans.
It's a fascinating time to be watching this field. Things are changing so fast. And it's not just specific industries. There's a broader discussion about the nature of AI itself. Like some people are debating whether LLMs, those large language models, can actually be considered publishers with their own viewpoints.
It's a really interesting question that gets at the very nature of intelligence and the role of bias in AI. This conversation is so important as AI becomes more common and we start relying on it for information and making decisions.
Imagine a world where you have like a Fox News model AI versus a New York Times model AI. It's a wild thought, isn't it?
It really highlights how important it is to think critically and understand the potential biases that might be in AI systems.
Mm.
We need to be aware of where information comes from and what might be behind it, especially if it's made by AI.
Okay, let's shift gears a bit and talk about AI safety and ethics. This is something a lot of researchers and developers are thinking about, especially as AI gets more powerful.
The potential benefits are huge, but we also need to be aware of the risks. That's why it's so important to have open and honest conversations about AI safety and to make sure these technologies are being developed responsibly.
There's a big debate right now about balancing innovation and safety. Some researchers are even saying we should slow down the development of fully autonomous AI agents and prioritize safety over speed.
It's a complex issue, and there are no easy answers. We want progress and innovation, but we also have to be aware of the possible consequences of developing AI systems that could, potentially become more intelligent and autonomous than humans.
And that leads to the big question everyone's talking about, AGI, artificial general intelligence. Some people think we're close to creating machines that are truly intelligent, that can think and learn like humans.
Yeah, the idea of AGI has been around in science fiction forever, but now it's starting to feel like a real possibility. The advancements in AI are happening so fast, it's not crazy to think we could achieve AGI within our lifetimes.
I know, it's exciting and a little scary at the same time, right? Some people who have tested GPT 4.5, the latest version of OpenAI's language model, are saying it feels like AGI. They say it's incredibly sophisticated and almost human-like in how it understands and responds.
It's definitely something to watch closely. If those claims are true, it could be a huge step towards AGI. But it's important to be skeptical and wait for more evidence and verification.
Of course, skepticism is always important, especially with something as groundbreaking as AGI. But even with all the serious talk about safety and ethics, it's good to remember that AI can also be fun and entertaining.
Definitely. The AI community has a great sense of humor, and we see a lot of creative and playful applications that bring joy and laughter.
Like all the jokes going around about someone dying to leak Grok 3's quality and whether 60,000 GPUs can really give Elon Musk AI primacy. It's good to have a laugh, right? It reminds us that even as we talk about AI's impact on the world, we can still appreciate the lighter side of this rapidly changing field.
One of my favorite things to do is check out the AI communities on Reddit and Discord. You can see all the cool things people are creating and talking about.
Yeah, the energy and enthusiasm in the AI community is amazing. People are constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible, building new tools, experimenting with different applications, and sharing what they know. It's really inspiring to be a part of. There's this awesome voice cloning model called Zonos that's making waves, and people are doing amazing things with DeepSeek R1, pushing the limits of what you can do with CPU inference.
The accessibility of these tools is incredible. It's allowing people to experiment with AI in ways we never could before.
And the creativity is just amazing. Someone actually used Tencent's Hunyuan model to try to make a Harry Potter anime style video transformation.
Uh-huh. It's a fun example of how people are exploring the creative possibilities of these models.
It's a good reminder that even with all the serious discussions about AI's impact, we can still have fun and appreciate how amazing this technology is.
Absolutely. And I think that sense of wonder and curiosity is what will keep driving progress in AI.
So that's a wrap for part one of our AI deep dive. We covered a lot, from the technical details of new models to the broader impact of AI on society and what it means for all of us.
Stay tuned for part two, where we'll go deeper into some of the less talked about but equally important trends, like the rise of open source tools, the push for more diversity in AI, and the world of AI agents.
We'll be back soon to continue this journey into the ever-changing world of AI. Until then, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those algorithms humming.
Welcome back to our AI Deep Dive. In part one, we hit on the big, flashy stuff, new models, benchmarks, and even China's AI scene. Now let's check out some of the, well, unsung heroes of AI, the things quietly revolutionizing how we access and use it.
It's like building a house. you know? Everyone looks at the facade, but the foundation is what matters. And in AI, that foundation is increasingly built on open source tools and resources.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about this whole open source thing. Why should I, someone who's not like a hardcore developer, care about it?
Mm.
Well, it's leveling the playing field, right? Open
Mhm.
source means the code behind these amazing AI tools is free for anyone to use, modify, distribute, the whole nine yards. So more people can try AI, contribute to it, create solutions for their specific needs, you name it.
So it's not just big companies calling all the shots anymore.
Exactly. It's more collaborative, developers and researchers from everywhere contributing to a shared pool of knowledge and resources. We're seeing this with everything from AI proxies, which manage how AI agents interact with the world, to real-time metrics dashboards that show you how your models are doing.
It's amazing to think that so much cutting edge tech is developed out in the open, driven by like passion and collaboration.
Yeah, and it's not just about access, it's about making AI better too.
Yeah.
And the open source community is super active in testing, debugging, optimizing. You've even got things like bug bounties and HPC optimization contests where people compete to make these models more robust, more reliable, and more efficient.
It's like crowdsourcing the evolution of AI. So how's all this affecting the types of models being developed?
Well, we're seeing a shift toward more specialized and domain-specific models. A good example is Mistral Saba, a multilingual model for languages like Arabic, Tamil, and Malayalam.
Wow, that's awesome. I love the idea of AI being used to connect people from different cultures, breaking down those language barriers.
Yeah, it's a key step to making AI more inclusive and representative of the world's diversity. For a long time, AI development was really focused on English models, which limited its reach in a lot of places. Models like Mistral Saba show that we can develop AI systems that are sensitive to cultural nuances and can communicate effectively with a global audience.
It's a great example of how AI can bring people together and foster understanding.
And this focus on diversity goes beyond language, too. We're seeing more attention paid to making sure AI is developed with awareness of different cultural perspectives and values.
That brings us back to our talk about AI bias, doesn't it?
Exactly. It's not just about fixing technical biases in the algorithms themselves. It's about recognizing that AI systems are used in social and cultural contexts that influence how they're used and perceived.
So it's a multifaceted challenge that needs a holistic approach. The technical aspects, the social implications, the cultural values, all these things shape how AI is developed and used.
Right. It's complex,
Right.
but the open source community is doing a lot to bring these issues to light and drive the development of more responsible AI that's inclusive too.
Okay, back to some of the models we discussed earlier. Remember Llama 3.2? It's super powerful, but it also needs a lot of computing power to run.
Yeah, that's a common challenge with large-scale models. They're powerful, but they can be resource intensive.
And that's where the open source community comes in clutch. They're developing things like quantization, which basically shrinks the model down to make it run better on less powerful hardware.
Tools like EasyQZ are making it possible to run models like Llama 3.2 on devices that wouldn't have been able to handle them before.
It's like fitting a giant AI into a tiny box. And it's not just about making them smaller, there's also work being done on extending the context capabilities of these models.
Right, context is crucial. It determines how much information the AI can process at once. The bigger the context window, the more nuanced the model's responses.
And I've heard some exciting things about what Unsloth, a big name in AI, is doing with Llama 3.2.
Yeah, Unsloth's pushing the limits, working on expanding the context window for Llama 3.2 to, get this, 32,000 tokens.
Wow, that's like giving AI a photographic memory. Imagine what kind of understanding and insight would be possible with that level of context.
They would revolutionize tasks like summarization, question answering, even creative writing.
Okay, before we move on, I got to ask about DeepSeek R1 again. It's a really impressive model from China, but there's some online chatter about it being a CCP project and concerns about censorship. What are your thoughts?
I think it's important to remember that AI development, like any technology, is influenced by the geopolitical context, right?
It's not happening in a bubble, for sure.
Exactly. So it's natural to have questions about the motivations and how AI from different countries might be used. It's important to have these discussions and think about the broader implications of AI on a global scale.
It reminds us that AI isn't just about technology. It's connected to politics, economics, social values, the whole package.
And as AI gets more powerful and widespread, those conversations are only going to get more important. We need to be thinking critically about the role of AI in society and how to make sure it benefits everyone.
Speaking of the global AI landscape, there's been talk about NVIDIA's grip on the hardware side. Their compute power seems to be doubling every 10 months, which is wild.
NVIDIA's GPUs are essential for AI development, and their advancements are definitely driving progress. But it does raise questions about access and control.
Yeah, if one company has that much power, does it give them too much influence over the direction of AI?
It's a valid concern, and it highlights the need for more competition and innovation in AI hardware. We need access to powerful computing resources for everyone, not just a select few.
Okay, let's talk about AI agents. They're getting more popular, and for good reason. They can automate tasks, give personalized recommendations, even act as virtual assistants.
AI agents are changing how we interact with technology. Instead of giving the computer direct instructions, we can delegate to AI agents that learn our preferences and needs.
It's like having a bunch of little digital helpers taking care of things for us behind the scenes.
Yeah, exactly. And we're seeing some innovative uses of AI agents. One that caught my eye was Apply Hero. It used the Claude model to automate like 1.6 million job applications.
Wow. Makes you think about the future of work, though. If AI can handle something as complex as applying for jobs, what does that mean for human workers?
That's a real concern, and one we need to think about as AI becomes more sophisticated. But I also think AI can help us, It can augment human abilities and create new chances to collaborate and innovate.
Right. It's not about replacing humans. It's about finding ways for AI and humans to work together better.
Exactly. It's about using AI's power to boost our productivity, creativity, and problem solving, while making sure that humans are still in control and everyone benefits from AI, not just a select few.
It's about finding that balance where AI and humans complement each other.
Yeah. And as AI keeps evolving, that collaborative approach will become even more important.
Okay. Before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, I have to share another example of the creativity and fun in the AI community. Someone used Tencent's Hunyuan model to try to make a Harry Potter anime-style video transformation.
Haha. It's a fun example of people exploring the creative side of AI. Even if the results aren't always perfect, it's inspiring to see how people use AI to express themselves and push creative boundaries.
It reminds us that even with all the serious discussions about AI, we can still have fun and appreciate the wonder of it all.
For sure. And I think that sense of wonder is what will keep driving progress in AI.
So to recap, we looked at the importance of open source, the complexities of cultural and geopolitical factors in AI, and the rise of AI agents.
And we want you to think critically about these things and how they might shape AI's future and how it impacts your life.
The AI world is constantly changing, so staying informed and engaged is key to navigating this exciting and unknown territory. And we're back for the grand finale of our AI adventure. We've covered so much ground, from those crazy new models to the power of open source, even like the philosophical questions that AI brings up. But now it's time to bring it all home, talk about what it means for you.
Yeah, we've gone deep, but it all comes back to accessibility. AI isn't just for those fancy research labs and tech giants anymore. It's becoming something we can all interact with, learn from, even contribute to.
So this is where I get to ask, what's your AI story? Are you running models locally, like on your own machine? Have you messed around with voice cloning using Zonos? Maybe you've been pushing the limits of what a CPU can do with DeepSeek R1.
This is the really exciting part, isn't it? We're moving away from just watching AI from the sidelines and into a time where we can all get involved, and that participation can look like a lot of different things.
For sure. You might be playing around with some new tools, contributing to open source projects, or even just having those deep conversations about the ethics of it all. Every little bit counts.
Yeah, because AI isn't some like predetermined future that's just going to happen to us. It's being shaped right now by the choices we make, the questions we ask, and how we choose to use these tools.
Okay, so let's talk about jobs. Remember that AI agent Apply Hero that blasted out over 1 million job applications? That got a lot of people worried about AI, coming for their jobs.
It's complicated, right? And I think anyone who says they have all the answers is probably oversimplifying things. There will be jobs that change, some that become automated, and then totally new ones that we can't even picture yet.
Right. It's not just robots versus humans. It's more nuanced than that. It's about adapting, learning new skills, and figuring out how to make this human-AI partnership work.
Exactly. That's where the focus should be. Collaboration, education, making sure everyone benefits from AI, not just a select few.
Makes me think about those predictions we talked about, that 2025 will be a big year for AI-powered humanoids and robotics. What does that future look like if we get this collaboration piece right?
Hmm. Well, imagine a world where AI is taking care of all those tedious, boring tasks, freeing us up to do more creative and fulfilling things. Imagine AI helping us crack those really tough problems, like climate change or, coming up with better healthcare solutions, stuff that we've struggled with for ages.
But how do we make sure it doesn't just lead to more inequality? We've seen that happen with other technologies. The benefits end up concentrated in the hands of a few.
That's the big question, isn't it? And it's one we have to actively address. It's going to take smart policy making, building ethical considerations into AI from the ground up, and a commitment to education and reskilling programs that benefit everyone, not just a small group.
It's a huge challenge, but we can't ignore it because at the end of the day, AI is a tool, right? And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. It depends on who's holding it.
That brings us back to individual responsibility, right? Governments and companies have a part to play, but so does each and every one of us.
So, what can we actually do?
Stay informed. Keep asking those tough questions. Get involved in conversations about the ethics of AI. Support the organizations that are trying to develop AI responsibly. And I think most importantly, use your voice and your actions to help create the future you want to see.
It really comes down to choices, huh?
It always does. The choices we make today will determine what kind of world we build with AI tomorrow. And I truly believe that we can create a future where AI makes our lives better, empowers us, and helps us tackle some of humanity's biggest challenges.
That's a great note to end on. So, as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with that question we asked earlier. As AI evolves, what role do you see yourself playing in all of this?
Will you be a creator,
Hmm?
a user, an advocate? Maybe a little bit of everything. The possibilities are out there, and the future of AI is, well, it's still being written.
And that's what makes it so exciting. Thank you for joining us on this journey into the world of AI. Keep exploring, keep learning, keep asking those tough questions. Until next time, stay curious.